Hey guys, and welcome to the first episode of Book vs. Film. I don't know why I sang that. That was the lamest intro I've ever done. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm wearing a Rocket t-shirt. Rocket. You know, I'm supposed to be a huge film buff, and I still have not seen Guardians 2. Basically, this is a new channel that I'm starting, and it's just gonna be videos to do with basically books and films. So I just kind of discuss them and I'll review them and kind of say which one's better, because we have that whole thing where usually the book is better than the film depending on what you see first. So I'm just gonna kind of ramble about different books and different films and kind of give my recommendation of what one to go into first, if on the rare occasion it's actually the film first. Now, I don't want to jump straight in with a review, so I thought I'd just do like a fun little video where I showcase the books I have that are like the art of film and TV and like basically like companion books almost. So yeah, I'm just going to show them off and kind of talk a little bit about them, and that will be first episode, and hopefully it will be marginally enjoyable. The first one I have is one of the coolest books I own in my opinion, and it is Dread, the illustrated script and visuals by Alex Garland and Jock. Jock is the artist who's very well known for his Dread artwork, and Alex Garland was the director. I love Alex Garland anyway. He did one of my favourite films of all time, which was Ex Machina with Donald Gleeson and Oscar Isaac, and I can't pronounce the chick's name. This book basically is the original script with all the original concept art, and it also has an introduction by Alex himself where he tells a story about how Jock did drawings of Judge Dredd and people thought they were leaked concept art for the movie that wasn't coming out yet, or I can't remember actually if Jock had actually said it was leaked artwork even though it wasn't, but rather than getting in a shit ton of trouble, they actually brought him on board to do all the concept art for the film, so that's like a pretty cool success story. Inside is all different kinds of artwork. Some look like comics, some are drawings of the costumes. On at least one side of the page, sometimes on two, there will be the original script. Here it's really cool as well. The dog's on the run. Here it's really cool as well because it's not just concept art, it's also photographs for the creation of the costumes and the props. And one of the things I like about this book especially is obviously the art, and throughout the book there are like double pages of just really cool drawings. Next is a companion for the first season of one of my favourite TV shows ever, and that is Penny Dreadful. Now, this book is called The Art and Making of Penny Dreadful by Sharon Gosling. Gosling. And I'm super annoyed that, as far as I'm aware, they never made a companion for season 2 or season 3, although they did bring out comics that were pretty cool. I think they're currently doing the singular comics that are going to make up volume 2. Penny Dreadful was created by John Logan, and it's this very dark drama series based in Victorian London with all really famous gothic characters, including Frankenstein, Dracula, and it's so original and so respectful to like the previous stories. I just fell in love with it. I also like anything Victorian London, so I was sold straight away, especially when I found out one of the characters was Dorian Gray. Now, inside the book is things like prosthetics, special effects. There are pages that are just character pages, so they explain the characters and the actors. So here we have Mr. Lyle, and they have it for everyone. Frankenstein, Vanessa Ives, who's played by Eva Green, and then there's the beautiful Josh Hartnett. To know everything about this TV show made me super happy, but just in case anybody is watching this who helped with this, you should totally make another one for season 2 and season 3. Or, you know, make another Penny Dreadful series, because it ended last year and it's like losing a friend. Next again is another book for one of my favourite TV shows of all time, and I got this book only a few months ago for my birthday, and I read it basically instantly, and that is Vikings, and this is called The World of Vikings by Justin Pollard. It also has a foreword in it by Michael Hurst, who is the creator and writer of the show. He's also famous for doing Tudors as well, I believe. The front cover of this book is really cool. It's got like this kind of fake wood to it, but it's got like texture, which is really cool, and the V is sunken in as well, so it's really, really cool, and the binding on the spine is gorgeous. Now, inside is not just loads of behind the scenes stuff for the TV show and cast and crew interviews. There's also the history of the Vikings in here, like the specific stories that the TV show is based off of, or just literally extra bits of history that we may not know. And it really taught me a lot about how much history, real history, there are of Vikings, and there's not actually a lot. It was all kind of Chinese whispers written in like by monks and priests and recent archaeological finds, but it's really cool. Even if you didn't want to read it, the pictures are amazing of all the cast. This is one of my favorites, and it's Rollo. Yeah, Rollo. Yeah. Although sometimes no Rollo. No. What's really cool about that book as well is on the back is a quote from the real Ragnar Lothbrok, who the show kind of started being based mainly on until more characters started coming into themselves and having their own side stories. It's a really violent, dramatic TV show that's filmed beautifully, and the battle scenes are insane, so to find out how they did that was really, really interesting for me. Next is a book that currently doesn't have the dust jacket on because the dust jacket is upstairs, and I've already started filming this video and I'm super duper lazy. That book is As You Wish by Carey. Okay, right, in all the times that I've loved this actor since I was a kid and I first saw Robin Hood Men in Tights, I've never learned how to say his last name. Carey Elwes? And basically, if you're not a fan of the film already and have guessed it by the title, this book is about the Princess Bride. Carey played Wesley, who was the main character in this classic, cult, amazing, wacky fairy tale. So when I found this book, I had to get it like immediately. And the whole book is basically Carey's experience on set, behind the scenes. It's meeting everyone for the first time and just that whole experience, which was so cool to read, to like kind of not only be in the film but be out of the film with everyone as well. And as you go through the book, there are these little side notes in grey, and they're all by the rest of the cast, by the director and William Goldman, who wrote the Princess Bride book, although I think the original Princess Bride book was written by somebody else, but it's William Goldman's one that's most famous. There is an audiobook for this, and I totally want to listen to the audiobook because most of the people involved in the film actually read their bits for the audiobook. It's cool as well, when you get to the middle there's all these like set photos of all of them, and they all look super duper young. And lastly, one of the prettiest and biggest books I own is I'm trying to get it up. Crimson Peak, The Art of Darkness. Crimson Peak was a film that came out a couple years ago by the visual genius that is Guillermo del Toro. Now, this is probably one of the only things in my life I've ever waited for because it has been too expensive. Usually I just buy it, not caring. But it made it so much better when I could finally afford this. I mean, I only waited for it to go down like a $5, but that's still pretty good for me. The cover alone of this is it's just gorgeous. Crimson Peak is a gothic romance, although a lot of people called it a horror, starring Tom Hiddleston, Maya Wasikowska, and Jessica Chastain, and it's almost indescribable. There's ghosts, there's love, there's heartbreak, there's blood, and there's the amazing mansion that the majority of the film is in I was gonna say film is filmed in. Now, everything about this book is amazing, okay? And it's so huge, so I'm not gonna be able to show you. Ugh, it's too much. One of the reasons why I wanted this book so much is it wasn't just a companion to the film. There are little bits and pieces in it as well that was just I've never found in an art of film book yet. But inside there's pull-out pieces of paper on top of everything. In the film, if you'd seen it, you know what I'm on about, but Tom Hiddleston's character, Thomas, sends Edith a letter and basically saying he wants to marry her, and inside the book is a copy of the letter. There's pullouts of costume designs that are absolutely beautiful, and this is worth every penny in size and quality, and I'm gonna take this book with me everywhere. So yeah, I hope this video didn't go on for too long. Those are just some of the books that I absolutely adore that are film related, and it probably gives you a little bit of an inkling of what kind of films and TV I'm into. So I really look forward to talking about all these books and these films with you. If you have any recommendations, please let me know, because any excuse to watch a film and read a book is a good excuse for me. I am absolutely terrible at ending videos, so I'm just gonna say thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.